everyone.
Right,
Thank you again for yesterday morning, Philip. Very enjoyable.
Thank you. G'day, Bronwyn.
Hi, Philip.
Hi, John Wall. Hi, John Williams. Oh, goodness me, all these people that I know. Goodness. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Lily.
Hello, Philip. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, John Wall.
It's John
Hi,
Wall
Kevin.
here.
Hey,
You're on, Kevin.
all right, we're going to start right on time.
Well, we'll only be late if not.
Excellent.
There's 29 here, but
Well, people can join in.
Hello,
My
Sue
name is
Foley.
Hi, Dale.
Oh, hi, Lily. Unfortunately, I'm only here for 15 minutes, but I just wanted to say hello anyway to this evening. Sorry, what day is it?
Hello, Dale. It is the evening. Good to see you online, mate.
Yeah, likewise.
Hello, Kitty.
Hi. I can't see everybody. I've got to increase the screen.
Sorry, Kevin, we interrupted you there.
That's all right. I was just going to get things started. So we might as well start. My name is Kevin Beagle. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne, and along with Melbourne South President Pam Dittmer and Albert Park President Richard Chater, we welcome you to the District Governor's Port Phillip Cluster meeting. We have some special guests who include Executive AG Kate Strain, Catherine O'Connor representing the Come Walk With Us campaign, District Governor-elect Dale Hoy, who I think just joined, our Assistant Governor Lily Teichman, and of course our District Governor Philip Archer. So I'd now like to turn it over to my colleague Richard Chater for the toast and acknowledgement of country. Richard?
thank you, Kevin. Well, firstly, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners on the land that we meet, the Yalakut Whelan clan of the Boonwurrung, and we pay their respect to their elders, both past, present, and emerging. But because this is a Rotary meeting, I'm also going to raise your glasses for a toast to Rotary International and the clubs putting this on being Albert Park, South Melbourne South, and Port Melbourne. So, cheers.
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 Back to you.
Okay, thank you. I'd now like to introduce one of the hardest working people in the district. In addition to being our assistant governor, she is the president of the Rotary Club of Glen Ira and a driving force in our cross-cluster initiative. And I'd be remiss if I didn't add an unbelievable talent in the culinary arts. So please welcome our AG, Lily Teichman.
Thank you, President Kevin. And again, good evening to everybody. It's absolutely fantastic to see so many Rotarians together on the screen tonight. Again, I'd like to welcome our Governor, Philip, our District Governor-elect, Dale, our Executive Assistant Governor, Assistant Governor, Kate Strain, Kitty O'Connor, our End Polio Ambassador. And welcome to the Presidents and all the club members. So let me take a moment to share the structure of this evening with you. Apart from having a bit of fun and frivolity with a great raffle coming up, we'd like to take this opportunity tonight to share about our clubs, projects and passions. And in our cluster, we're very fortunate to be already partnering with each other on a number of projects. I know that awareness is already here between our cluster clubs, and you would know my passion for sharing resources across the clusters. This approach not only adds value to our work, but there are many long-term benefits in collaborating together. Tonight, we want to take this to a deeper level and share by showcasing some of our projects and bringing them to life with the people who are involved on the ground. I'm envisaging that through this continued sharing, we will pave the way for future engagements together, utilising the individual skills and expertise of cluster members, and turning our passions both in the fundraising space and especially around helping people in difficulty into realities. Tonight, our cluster presidents will interact together and will be sharing the roles in running the meeting. We have much pleasure in hearing from our District Governor Phillip speak on district initiatives, and we welcome Kitty O'Connor from the Rotary Club of Melbourne South and our District End Polio Ambassador, showcasing the Come Walk With Us campaign to end polio. So it is my pleasure to share with you, firstly, from the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne, then Melbourne South, and then Albert Park. May we ask, please, if you can keep your screen on mute so that there is less noise. And if you do have a question, please just type it into the chat section. Okay, so to kick it off, please welcome President Kevin from the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne.
Thank you, Lily. So I'm going to highlight 3 different areas in which we're taking pride in the projects we're doing. So the first one is going to be around our international initiatives. And as you may know, the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne has a long history of working in East Timor. We've been doing that for a number of years, and we've been successfully collaborating with not only other Rotary clubs, but entities like the Balibo House Trust and a few others. So essentially, we've been involved in the early learning and education and the construction of schools in the villages around Balibo. 2017-18 saw the construction of the new primary school and kindergarten in the area. And at the same time, the commencement of a primary school a few kilometers away. In 2018-19, we completed that school and then commenced with the construction of another new primary school, again in the same area. And that has now been handed over and has taken in the first students. So that leads us to another school under construction that is now with the Department of Education and again being built in that area. The exciting part is that each school is designed to educate 120 children who otherwise would really be at risk. And that would have a complement of 4 to 5 teachers. And obviously, schools in rural areas like that play such a vital role in each small community. So we're extremely proud of what we've been able to do. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this one of the driving forces years ago was our former president, Ricardo Krauskopf, who was instrumental along with some of the other early founding members of the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne in really driving the initiative. So we continue to be in awe of the projects that they started, and we feel it's part of our legacy to keep those initiatives going. On top of that, we've branched out in some other areas, and we're now working on gardens with the idea of improving, shall we say, suboptimal nutrition that is in that area of East Timor. And then we have some other initiatives that are shovel ready, waiting for COVID to subside. So essentially, we're continuing our long history of making a difference in East Timor. The next part I'd like to talk about is what we're doing in the community. And recently we have introduced a series of 4 webinars called Port Talks. Richard, may I share the screen?
You should be able to, can't you?
Okay, I'm going to try. Does that come up?
Yes.
Excellent. So Port Talks is essentially a series of 4 webinars on topics of interest, not only in Port Melbourne, but also in the greater Port Phillip area. The really exciting part for us is that it's a collaboration of the entities you see on the bottom of the screen. So that is the City of Port Phillip, and we're really doing our best to strengthen our relationship with the city. The Southport Community Center, the SHIP, Social Health and Inclusion Port, which is part of Star Health, and then of course you can see the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne. Port Talks is essentially the culmination of really extraordinary work by our community director, Graham Reed. And it has been expanding the relevance of the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne in the Port Melbourne community. I also very much believe it represents our best recruiting tool. It's logical that by bringing topics of interest and importance to the residents of Port Melbourne, we establish ourselves as a vital element in the collective psyche of the community. So essentially in Port Melbourne, we are trying to be as front and center in people's lives as possible. So our first Port Talk was a week or so ago, and it was titled, "Are We All in This Together?" And we had 3 really, really good speakers, and it was extremely well received. Our next one we think is going to be even more relevant. And as you can see, the title there is "Can Bay Street Recover?" It'll be a week out from today. Our local panelists are the president of a local residents association, the head of the Bay Street Traders Association, and an urban expert, urban planning expert. So it's going to be, as I say, extremely topical. We're very hopeful of having in excess of 150 attendees. And these attendees are going to come from the areas or from the members of the other local organizations with whom we're working. So we're hoping that the City of Port Phillip is going to advertise, as well as the Community Center and Star Health. The important part of all this is that we're now expanding our reach into groups with whom we've historically had very little contact. And we think it's, or we're hopeful that it's going to be a blueprint for not only what we're doing, but also for what other clubs in the area can do if they're interested in doing similar initiatives. So as you can see, there's a hyperlink there to register. If anyone is interested in attending, all you have to do is link on that. I'm happy to send the flyer out to the other clubs. Then I'm limited, I think have 3 or 4 minutes left. So the last area I want to highlight for the Rotary Club of Port Melbourne is our youth area. We had originally planned on having our Interact president from McRob speak. They are, from what I understand, busy with studying. So I'm going to ask our youth director, David Richardson, to take over and to just highlight the things that have been going on with McRob, and in particular, how we've been able to help promote one of their initiatives. So David, can you take?
Sure. Can you hear me? Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin. Yes, this is a pretty exciting project that our girls have embarked upon. As you probably know, we've had an Interact Club for about 7 years, and this year it's really gone ahead in leaps and bounds, and it now has approximately 150 members. They approached us about 4 months ago or 5 months ago about doing an outreach program. We weren't really able to help them in the way we would have liked. So these girls, being these girls, went out and did it themselves. The long and the short of it is, and I was hopeful that we'd be able to get their website up onto the screen, but they have a website called Letters Against ISO. So as Letters Against Isolation, and I commend you to go onto this and have a look at this, because the figures are quite amazing. in the period that they've been doing this since about May. You'll see the figures there. They've had 1,500 people writing, about 2,000 letters written to primarily the residents of aged care around Victoria and Australia and around the world. And they've also brought in some other schools, and there's a listing of them. If you go on the website, you'll see the list. The feedback from this has been quite phenomenal, and for the girls to have been able to achieve this pretty much off their own bat, I think speaks volumes for them. So much so that through the good offices of Leo King, our IT maestro, the president of this, or the CEO, I should say, of Letters Against ISO, last year's president, Hannah, was interviewed on 3AW 2 weeks ago, and the feedback from that was phenomenal. And Lily was also able to introduce us to the PR lady at Rotary in Sydney, who gave us the opportunity for Hannah to speak on 3LO last week. And again, it was very, very well received. And I personally had a number of phone calls from people saying, is this the mob you're involved with? And just saying to me that they couldn't believe what these kids had achieved. So please go on and have a look on their Letters Against ISO site. It just shows what can be done by people basically getting off their backside and doing it, and rather than waiting for other people to put all the building blocks in place. They've done an awful lot of other stuff over the years, some very creative things. They've raised their own money, and they're a very go-ahead and very bright young group of people. So I just find it an absolute joy to work with them. The biggest difficulty is keeping up with them. So, but please have a look on their website. You will be astonished at what these girls have achieved.
Thank you, David. Yeah, to say the least, we are immensely proud of the young women at McRobb and our association with them. So, Lily, I've only gone 2 minutes over, which is a record. So now I would like to turn it over to my colleague at Melbourne South, Pam Dittmer. Pam, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. Just trying to find the unmute button. Today, I've decided to put together a small PowerPoint for you all. That'll keep me on time. I can be a little bit of a jetty pants, as everybody knows. So we're just sharing the screen. I can't see the words. So this evening I'd like to talk about the care pack projects that we have undertaken within the community and the greater Melbourne community. So when the seeds of an idea takes root, the results can be spectacular. So I'd like to share with you this little conversation that Fiona and Elsa have had whilst talking about the difference that care packs can make to people who have been admitted to the mental health unit at the Alfred Hospital.
There's no sound, Pam.
You have to enable sound, Pam.
There's no sound. Okay. Sorry. Kevin, any idea where we might find that?
Yes, when you go to share your screen, in the bottom left-hand corner, typically there's a little checkbox to enable audio to be shared as well as video. You might have to stop sharing and then reshare or go back in and share again.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Hey Kevin, it's Jason.
Hi.
Hi. Go back into where, sorry, Kevin?
You see in the bottom left-hand corner when your multi-screens come up, it says share computer sound, bottom left-hand corner.
Share computer sound. No, I don't see that one. Sorry,
So,
Kevin.
When you hit share screen, the little green button at the bottom, a number of windows should come up.
There we go. Yep. Thank you,
Yep.
Kevin. Much
You're
appreciated.
You know, the unit that I work
Can you hear
in
now?
and the patients that we work with and the vulnerabilities and the gaps that we have. And I guess over the years we've tried to get a sustainable way of achieving that, because we get 110 patients in a month, and to be able to offer 110 patients on a consistent basis a pack is it's a big undertaking. And we'd tried a few avenues through the Alfred Foundation, and we were just never able to get the traction to get these packs up in a sustainable way. We were able to kind of get someone who'd give us 50 but not be able to kind of keep it kind of sustainable, and it was just a very hard project to get sustainability around. So when Elsa mentioned that that Rotary could be in a position to provide a sustainable comfort pack to patients, it was like, wow. It's finally yeah, it's finally possible. So it was amazing to hear that kind of opportunity could be realised, and that we could actually meet this unmet need. We get, 110 patients through a month. They stay on average 2 to 3 weeks. Often patients are admitted in quite a vulnerable state, and are usually, at their most distressed. Some people come in, off the street. Some people are brought in via police. Some people are brought in by their parents, or some people are brought who self-present. And often entering a mental health unit is an incredibly fearful and distressing time in people's lives, and be able to offer someone at that point something that says we care, and that is a little bit personal, I think helps offset the harsh reality, I guess, of having to be admitted to a mental health inpatient unit. The community has a view about mental health inpatient care. It's often stigmatised. People kind of are afraid of what might happen. So to be able to kind of when someone arrives, just have some time with someone to say, here's something that you might need throughout your stay, I think sets the tone for the kind of care we want to provide, and enables us to kind of, I guess, start to kind of connect with people. And as Elsa said, like, our model of care is underpinned by 4 key kind of domains of care. That we aim that our care is personal, we aim that our care is actually connected, we aim that it's safe, and that we aim that it's effective. And I guess this project actually demonstrates a lot of those things. So it's particularly exciting, actually, to be able to be a part of it, and to be able to support patients in this way.
What's been so great about having this started already on the ward has been the softening of that first interaction with a member of staff through the pack, and the response not only from consumers when they receive that has been so positive, and that they feel cared for, but not just from the staff on the ward, but the fact that people in the community are contributing to a project like that is just so significant to them, and it sends such a beautiful message, especially around the stigma around mental health that people have to endure at times, and maybe even have themselves. And so it's just a wonderful thing, and we know that 30% of people's recovery is often through that engagement and connection, and to be able to have something like that facilitate that at that point of admission is just a wonderful thing to be able to do. So we're very excited about that. And in the packs, there are some things that we've tried to implement in terms of doing a mindful activity that we try and encourage people to do, using some of the things that come in a pack, like a lip balm or a cream, and those things are something that can really be helpful in terms of people's recovery. We know that things like mindfulness is a good thing to do, and to just make it also interactive is something that we're quite excited about with regards to that pack. We also know that of late, over the last 12 months, we've seen an increase in homelessness, and what that means is we do get people on the wards that don't have much in terms of belongings, and therefore having that clothing part of the project has been quite exciting for us, because people tend to come onto the ward with not much, and especially if they under the Mental Health Act, which means that perhaps they're not getting leave, and they may just have the clothes that they've come onto the ward with, and the hospital pajamas, and we know that in terms of recovery, to be able to wear something that's not pajamas during the day is actually a good thing for people, and to be able to give them something that's new and comfortable is a wonderful thing to do as well. So all these little things just mean so much for people's recovery, and so much to us, because I can tell you we sometimes feel quite busy, and we don't always get that time to get off the ward to get these things that might be needed. And to have Rotary provide that and make it so accessible and easier for us is just a wonderful thing, and we're just so grateful for that. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. Just
a massive thank you to Rotary.
We're just very.
It's a great project. It's a great partnership. It's a great way that the community can support the hospital within the community and its patients. So thank you to Rotary on behalf of Alfred. It's a wonderful initiative. We're very grateful.
So as often happens when Rotarians are active in the community, conversations about community and its needs are the topic of most interest. Conversation between our club member Bronwyn Stevens and local community leaders Elsa Carr. Oh, Jess, where have we gone? Sorry. How did that just close it? So Rotary has a strong focus in the area of mental health. Oh no, that's got us. Just to make sure, after bushfires and the worst drought that farmers have suffered in decades, along came COVID, just to make sure that we weren't being complacent. The need for focus on mental health has never been greater, and sometimes small gestures can make a very big difference, as you've just heard from Fiona and Elsa. So here is a picture of the first meeting at the hospital, where I think there's the discussion around the difference that these care packs would make to the patients who were coming in. This was our first packing day. It's beautiful products that were fully donated.
Pam, you need to reshare your screen, Don.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my apologies for this, folks.
That's it, Pam. We can see it.
Thank you. All right, so just we've just got a few pictures, and I'll gallop through those. Goodness me, it's one of those situations where if anything can go wrong, it will. So here we are with the committee, packing the bags, beautiful bags from Boomerang Bags, product all donated. The end of the packing day, which was actually a very chilly day, and I think we managed to get through about 200 packs, which would see the mental health unit at the Alfred right for a month and a half. A few of the bags heading in, and just a picture of the teddies that go into a few of the bags. This is a indication of the donations that came in once word got out that that's what we were, that our project was for care packs for the mental health unit. It was unbelievable. We managed to talk one of the committee members into helping us store the goods, and we now have a little bit of a production line for making up the packs, which is running really easily. Now, off the back of that, we, within a month, heard about the serious situation for the seafarers. About 1.5 million of them were stuck out at sea, and they couldn't come ashore because of the restrictions on borders. Some of them had already been on their vessels for over 6 months. So it was felt after hearing a radio call out that Rotary could do something to help with this situation. One of our members is a volunteer at Stella Maris. So telephone call was had with Christina, and very, very quickly donated goods from DIK were sent to Stella Maris to help with the care packs. I think approximately 8 pallet loads of goods, of clothing, books, caps, water bottles, all headed off to Stella Maris. An indication once again of the generosity of Rotarians. Those are the red bags that are all packed, ready to go for the seafarers, and there we are, Christina and I, ready to head down to the docks.
Hello.
Handing out the care packs to the seafarers. I could tell you the joy that they had on their face at receiving those was wonderful. You'll see on the slide on the right-hand side that even the seafarers wanted to say thank you to the frontline workers. These are some of the goods that go into the seafarers packs. You'll see hand-knitted beanies. A call out went onto Facebook, both personal Facebooks and the Rotary Facebook. We had hand-knitted beanies being sent in from Brisbane, from down in the Mornington Peninsula. We were also wondering how we could put some sweet treats in, and in a conversation with a couple of our newer members, I made a comment that I wondered if we could mobilise the fudge makers of Melbourne to start sending in some fudge for them. Well, these two girls, Wendy and Bronwyn, put their heads together and decided that they would perhaps involve some of the primary schools in making some biscuits for the seafarers care packs. Unfortunately, of course, before that could happen, we went back into lockdown. So it was decided that we would set up a Zoom bake day on a Sunday, and we made Anzac cookies or Anzac biscuits. This happens every Sunday at 2 p.m. We get an assortment of Rotarians and friends of Rotary, and together we generally can make up to about 120 packs of Anzac cookies. They go to the seafarers, and in recent weeks we have sent them to hospitals, St Vincent's, to Box Hill, to the Alfred, the Royal, all as a thank you to the frontline staff. And here we have the ship's crew modelling all of the handmade beanies that they received on that day. So that's the end of my presentation. I would now like to hand over to Richard, who is the president of Albert Park. These days, Richard and I probably meet up more often than we would if we weren't Zooming. So many meetings on Zoom, but there's not much time to chat. But we were lucky enough to have a couple of face-to-face meetings before lockdown. And in our conversation, he talked about his desire for his club to expand on their community involvement. And Richard, reading your newsletter confirms the club has a strong community focus in the city of Port Phillip. So congratulations. We look forward to hearing more about it.
Thank you, Pam. We still are battling like everybody else about what we can do and what we can't do. So a lot of things are being organised by phone now rather than anything else. We've been lucky in that the book collection and sale project we've got, where we get some money, we've been able to run that during lockdown because it's all done online at a member's home, so that apart from picking up the books and posting them, it can all be done offline. So we've been able to get some money there. We've been continuing on Winds of Hope and other projects, but I'd like to hand over to our Director of Community to cover a couple of other things that we are doing. So Kim Guaziard, if you could come forth, and whilst you're talking, I'll line up your PowerPoint, which is actually very short, folks.
It is very short. Thank you. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm going to talk to you today about the project that I head up, which is called Solar Smiles Dental Charity. It was established in 2015 with the first volunteer trip to Cambodia in 2017. That was followed by a scoping trip into Morbisi, Timor-Leste in 2018, where we're now currently based as part of the project. For $550 per month, we now employ a Timorese full-time dentist called John and a full-time oral health therapist called Nizo that are on the screen, as well as our part-time translator, Melly. We look after 7 schools with approximately 2,500 children for prevention and clinical program. We're still in negotiations with the Ministry of Health to gain an MOU for a 5-year program so that we can apply for a global grant. Our schools are based high up in the mountains with no water and no electricity. So the program has innovative equipment, including a solar-powered backpack dental chair that are mobile dental chairs weighing only 20 kilos, and the drill is powered by a metal hydride battery that can be recharged either by mains power, car battery, solar power, hence our name. Whilst many other dental charities go into developing countries and measure their success by the amount of teeth that they can extract, we pride ourselves on going into the remote areas and treating every patient as if they're an Australian patient. We give them personalised dental records, a complete checkup, and then deliver treatment as close as we can to an Australian standard within our clinics. We pride ourselves on how many teeth we prevent from decaying rather than extracting, whilst upskilling and capacity building with our Timorese staff and community. We achieve this by delivering a prevention program that costs only $2.83 per year per student. And for that, they get toothpaste every day at school, up to 3 toothbrushes, and 2 applications of a concentrated fluoride called SDF. This concentrated fluoride, upon application to the biting surfaces of the molars or any active decay spot, will completely stop decay by up to 50% upon first application or up to 70% upon second application. We hope by focusing on the children that have mixed dentition of both baby and adult teeth that we can make a generational change in the dental health of our Mulvissy community. Locally, we're just about to launch our Melbourne Homeless and Food Insecure program for the dental. Solar Smiles has made a strategic community partnership with St. Silas, whom our club Albert Park has a long association with, for delivering a weekly hot food service. Whilst volunteering there last Christmas, I identified the need for the community members to access free dental treatment. We are in the startup phase, and the way that it's going to work is that, number one, St. Silas staff will identify people in genuine need. A local practice will donate the use of their surgery for one day to a Solar Smile volunteer team. We will transport patients from St. Silas to the clinic using a donated bus and volunteer driver. Patients will receive 1 hour of free treatment within a limited clinical scope. And then they will leave the practice with a goodie bag of dental personal hygiene and just nice stuff really, like cookies, and then be transported back to St. Silas. Solar Smiles will provide all the consumable items whilst within the volunteered practice, basically. So we'll take all our own gloves, masks, fillings, anesthetics, all that kind of stuff to ensure that the practice isn't out of pocket by donating surgery time. We do hope that these clinics may volunteer some dentist hours or some dental assistant hours. Dental consumable products can be quite expensive, and we are applying for, with our partner Rotary Club Fitzroy, to apply for a local district grant to help fund some of the cost. We have also brought on corporate sponsors of STI Dental, which you can see on the screen. They donated all these products. This is several $1,000s worth, just so you can see those grey boxes actually hold just over 1,100 amalgam fillings in them. And some of these will be shipped to our Timor project as well. We have also partnered with Henry Schein Hallis, another supply company here in Australia, who we will buy items from, but they have also committed to donating about $1,500 worth of items to the local program. So from collecting 50-cent pieces at markets to fund the original chair back in 2015, Solar Smiles has donated over $300,000 worth of free dental treatment, has donated toothbrushes to Australian homeless projects, Cambodia, Timor-Leste, Vietnam, and Fiji. I think the project is a prime example of one little idea and the power of Rotary. And as always, I'm always going to be grateful to Bronwyn Stevens for finding me and bringing me into Rotary. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Another project we are starting to beginning now is a community pantry in the Port Phillip area. It's only at very early stages, but if I could ask Raylene to say a few words on that, please.
Certainly. Thanks, Richard. So what we're calling the Port Phillip Community Pantries project, it's a food security project that will work in conjunction with the Share the Food project that I know some of the other clubs are involved in, and other food security projects in place across the city of Port Phillip. The aim, we're in partnership with Star Health and also Port Melbourne Focus Facebook group. And our aim is to establish a network of pantries, community pantries across the city of Port Phillip, not unlike the network of little libraries that I think most people are probably familiar with, only they'll be larger, so hopefully more like a standard pantry, full pantry size that you'd expect to see in a home. And they would be open 24 hours, so they'd all have little battery lights in them, so that could be accessible at night as well as during the day. We see that as important because some people have never been in a situation where they're food insecure, so it could be quite embarrassing to them to have to go and access things like we'd be providing in the pantry during daylight hours. So we're looking at lots of non-perishable products in the pantry, the sorts of things you'd expect to see in most people's pantries. And also hopefully a supply of fresh fruit and vegetables and things like bread and possibly some other cake-like products. The first one that we're looking at getting off the ground, we actually have the site chosen, and the application is into council for permission to start that one off, and it's in Liardet Street. So it's opposite Coles, and it's right outside the Liardet Street Community Centre, which is also quite close to public housing in Port Melbourne. And it's, in fact, the very site we're looking at is right next to one of the little libraries, which our club is also involved in supplying with books from our book project. And the current Mayor, Bernadine Voss, is very much in favour of this project. So although Bernadine won't be around for that much longer, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway, in fact, she might even decide to get involved in it herself at some point. We're looking very much at this being a community project for communities, for all the communities across the city of Port Phillip, and managed by communities. So what we're looking at doing is having a Adopt a Pantry campaign as we get each pantry up and going. So by that I mean we'd be looking at targeting, it could be a church group, it could be a group of neighbours who are close to a particular pantry, it could be a parent group from a kindergarten, a childcare centre, a primary school, a secondary school. It could even be a few little businesses who are close to that pantry. So we're wanting them to become at least partially sustainable. Obviously, they'd get help from us in actually managing it, running it, working out any problems or solutions to problems, that kind of thing. And also looking to get some of their own donors, through the community. And when it comes to looking at, well, who would be potential donors for this project? We're thinking about community members or community groups, local businesses, and possibly Rotary clubs in this cluster, obviously our own club, but the other two clubs might also be interested. And also, it looks like we'll probably get some help from Share the Food program, because that's all the non-perishable goods are being supplied. I've actually spoken with one of the main people involved in that program, and it looks like, she said that she could probably give us some help. So I think with all of those different potential donors, we really should be able to get this up and going, and hopefully the community will really get behind this campaign and, get really involved in it. So I think I've covered most things there, Richard.
Thank you.
So doing this walk now over a month just made perfect sense. So for this year, our end polio walk, as you've heard, is called Walk With Us. It's done in a COVID safe way for the entire month of October 1st to 31st. You get to pick your own distance, pick where you want to walk within COVID safe parameters, of course. And if you can, take your kids, your dogs, get out there and do everything. Now, as Philip also said, today, I'm very pleased to announce this. I thought I was going to be coming on here giving you a figure that was good, but not as great as the one I'm about to say. So in 23 days of this fundraising initiative being launched, we just broke the $20,000 mark. So it is an amazing, amazing thing to know that 3 years of running this walk, we have smashed the previous targets and we've still got a month to go. Not only that, our walk this year encompasses not just our beautiful district of 9800, my favourite district, but also 9820, 9780, 9650, 5,000, and for those of you that are wondering, that's Hawaii, 9,600, which is actually Redcliffe and the Solomon Islands, both clubs, and 9,570, which is that Central Queensland Club of Longreach. So it really isn't just about our little world anymore. This little initiative that has been wonderfully supported by Phillip, District, Grant Hocking and Murray Verso and the rest of the foundation team has really taken off. And what we're asking this year is that you all come along for the walk, come along for the ride, come along for the swim. Phillip, I think you're swimming to Tasmania still, and you're doing a wonderful job at getting sponsorship for that. But this is the whole point of this year. You do it your way, however you want, and you make a real difference. It goes to the Sir Clem Renouf appeal as well, as we all know, the legend of Rotary, and really the father of the End Polio campaign when he launched it in 78, 79. And it's the easiest thing that you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen. So you've all registered. I'm going to say yes. Every single person on this call has registered. Now, what I'm going to do is show you some of the really easy ways that you can then share it with your friends. Because as Rotarians, we know we all put a lot of our own money into our own causes, which is brilliant. It's just what we do. It's service above self. It's the perfect way to be a Rotarian. But the other great thing about this event is introducing what we do to the greater public. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to talk you through how you can go about sharing this with everybody else. So as you can see, the beautiful landing page, here is us walking around Albert Park Lake. This was actually our first year when we were punks, princesses and princes and Great Danes. So here we are, we're on Kitty's page because I've registered, I'm doing my bit, but how do I get my friends involved? How do I get my community involved? How do I get this out to the greater world? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can go up to your little icon up the top here. So we go to Kitty and we go to Dashboard. Now what this is going to do is take you through to your own page. So as you can see here, it's telling you that I've raised $323 out of my $500 goal, which I'm going to increase because I've just had $200 committed to me. So I'll be increasing that. You have all of your page bits here, your fitness activities, how you can do it. And from September 1st, not before, because that's cheating, from September 1st, you can log where you walk and how far you walk. And all of your friends get to see it.
You mean October?
In October, 1st of October, not the 30th of September, which is a great day because it's my birthday, but it's the 1st of October we start. And then it has all of your donations down here. So as you can see, there's a few people that have sent me donations. So let's say I wanted to go and send thanks to my dad, who said, "Good luck, darling, and don't break anything." Well done, Dad. Thanks for that vote of confidence. It's as easy as doing this. Send thanks, pick a template, and bam, send thanks. My dad now just got an email thanking him for donating to my cause. Now, to share it with your greater community. You see these little icons under here where it says 323? You've got a Facebook icon, Twitter, email, and LinkedIn. So for those of us in the professional sphere, if you're looking to get your corporates involved, you can just simply click on LinkedIn. It will take you to your profile and automatically load it. If you wanted to do it via an email, let's say you're not a fan of the socials, and if we've all watched The Social Dilemma lately, it's probably not what you want to be doing. It runs it and puts it straight into an email base where you can just hit the 2. And let's say I'm going to send this to Grant because, well, you know, Grant's got a lot of people supporting him. So I'm just going to do this. It's pre-populated You don't have to do anything. I, however, will say thanks for the $100 you will donate. Kitty. There we go. Hit send. Boom. That is now in Grant's inbox, and I know I will get a text any moment when he's finished giving out a platinum citation to say, what are you thinking? But this is how easy we've made the project this year. It is the simplest way to do it. When you register at a normal, like on the normal homepage, you go through name, address, tell us you're a Rotarian, tell us which club you're at, because that also then goes towards your individual and club recognitions from Foundation. Now, you heard me rattle out those different districts. We've also got people over across the ditch, as Philip said, in New Zealand that are coming on board. So we've been featured in the End Polio campaign, so it's registered on there. I recently did a 30-second spiel for the End Polio World video that's going to come out, talking about our showcase. So how great would it be that this awesome little event that came out from District 9800, that was once just a little walk around the lake, then goes global. And that's what we're hoping for years to come. This event just gets bigger and bigger. And it's not going to happen though without your support. So please, I'm assuming you've all registered. If you haven't, please do. If you have any questions, send me an email, Philip an email, send anybody an email, and we will get back to you. Philip.
Can you tell us about the teams as well?
The teams, yes. Now that's actually a very fun part. So again, sharing my screen, if I go to leaderboards, there's all these amazing teams. So you can see who's doing very well. Now it goes and it ranks you in the top 10. But as you can see, we have these great teams that are clubs. So if you're the first person from your club, why not get a team together and pop them on here? So you've got South Bankers up the top. Don't know whose club that is. So they've raised 3,200. That's recognised by district as part of their polio giving campaign. All right, so every year we set a budget that goes towards that. The perennial dancers or prancers. So Susie Cole came up with that name, no doubt. 2,300. Melbourne South Cool Kids. We know they are. And it's amazing. Team Dorigo there are actually
where are they from?
District 9650, New South Wales. Way to go, right? So this is the thing. You have your individuals that are going crazy. You have your teams from all over the country, all over the world, if you count Hawaii and things like that. It's just one of these really easy things to do. When you sign up as an individual, the first of your club, register your team. It's all in the same thing. Register that you're a Rotarian, enter your club details and your district, and then go ahead and share using the easiest way possible on your own page.
Kitty, what's your personal target for all of us?
My personal target, I would love to hit $100,000. I would love it. I tend to think that in 23 days, we've raised $20,000. When we start walking in October and people can share them, you know, doing live walks, you can stream live if you're into the socials as well. So you can go straight to Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and share them all from your page. I think we'll be able to garner a lot of support. But look, 100,000 is the target. If we make 60, I will be super impressed. Because the other thing too, and as you know, Philip, Bill and Melinda Gates matched this 2-to-1. So technically, when you look at it like that, that's 40,000. So if we raise 60, well, there's 120. If we raised 100, there's 200,000, which would be up there with one of the largest.
No, Kitty. If you put in 20, they put in 40, that means it's 60.
Oh, there you go. See, this is why I'm a lawyer and other people do maths. See?
And Bronwyn, in her year as governor, raised a lot of money with her Smarties.
The Smarties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bronwyn, do you want to tell us about that? The 2-to-1 campaign, please. You need to unmute, Bronwyn.
That was it's a really powerful way of being in Rotary, isn't it? When all that matching occurs. I don't know how much district is matching, but once district matched, and then the DDF, and then the Bill and Melinda Gates put in theirs, it's certainly a powerful upward matching. So, yeah, definitely.
So this is a great example of how when we collaborate together and work together, not just in our club, but across platforms, across the cluster and the districts across Australia and New Zealand, we can really do some great work. So Kitty, I think you deserve a round of applause for the 3 years work that you've done and where we're heading to. And I can just see this taking off in the next 3 years. It's going to be sky high. And the good thing is that it's not just asking Rotarians for money, it's asking for our friends to put in some money outside in business, and, you know, so that's a great thing. Now, if I could just have a few minutes, but before I do, I just wanted to acknowledge a few people that I still haven't acknowledged. And one of them is one of the hardest working district leadership team members, Sue Foley, who's a member of Melbourne South. Sue, I'm sorry I forgot you earlier. You were sitting there very quietly, just organizing the raffle, which I think everyone's hoping that you can draw their ticket. And the other person that I wanted to acknowledge is Christina. I don't know whether Christina from the old St Kilda at Melbourne South is still there in the room, or she's absent today, but she's done a lot of great work at Stella Maris over the years, and she's certainly, they would say she's one of their absolute gems. So can we give her a round of applause as well? Folks, I've been very lucky. Some people say to me, how did you ever get to be governor in this year of the pandemic? Well, I've got to tell you, I'm one of the luckiest people, because it's given us huge opportunities. Whilst it's crueled a lot of the stuff that we normally would do and take for granted, I've got to just share with you a couple of really good things quickly, because time is on the wing. Firstly, I've met one of the best RI presidents ever in Holger Knack and his wife, Suzanne. In January, when I was in San Diego, I was so impressed with this man and his ability to pare back complex issues and just make it so simple. He is truly one of the best leaders we've had. You could tell that from the RI staff who've seen all of our leaders before, just how genuine this man really is in bringing us together. So I'm lucky that I've got a leader in Holger that's shown us the way during the COVID-19 pandemic, and what's to come in our business globally, businesses globally really suffering as a result of the pandemic. He and Suzanne are just sensational leaders. They are genuine, down to earth, and are really collaborators. 4 things he encouraged us to do is 1, be revolutionaries. That kind of plays to a sweet spot in Philip Archer and a lot of the members of District 9800, just like Kitty and Bronwyn and John Wall and everyone else. Stan, where is he? He's a revolutionary from way back. Vicky, I'm sure you'd attest to that. So that's something that I'd like to encourage all of us to do. Second thing he encouraged us to do is to be flexible in terms of membership, but do check people out when you're bringing them in so that you don't come across a challenge down the track. Third thing he really told us to do, fourth thing rather, is to really encourage everyone to say yes to people, to encourage opening up opportunities. The pandemic wasn't even around when he was talking about all of this. So through the pandemic, we've learned in our district that, and certainly Grant Hocking, our past district governor, took this up. He had us all pivot very quickly towards using technology and becoming clubs that really connected with our members through technology, and it's a great thing for us to see. From there, I've really seen a lot of great work come through from new programs that we've instigated for the last 2 or 3 years. One of them is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I think that message is really hitting home. It's an amazing thing to see when you get out there and you talk to people and they say, yes, we're recognizing Rotary for the work they're doing in this space, particularly our new members. And I'm sure you'll be seeing that in your clubs as well. The next thing that I'm really buoyed about is our work in environment and sustainability. And we can be doing that despite the pandemic and despite the shutdown that we've seen. We can be doing it in our backyards, in our walks around the community, and the environment and sustainability team are doing a fabulous job with that. The one project that really inspires me and gives me goosebumps is our Safe Families project that Dorothy Gilmore is working on. And she's produced a couple of movies, 18-minute movies, one for families and women keeping safe, and the other for kids keeping safe. But she's about to produce another 3, one for elder abuse, one for men recognizing the difference between being a perpetrator or a victim, and another one, critically, for our Indigenous first people in Australia to recognize what safe families are about. And that's really going to attract one of the first global grants from the Rotary Foundation of Australia Limited, that for the first time in our history, 100 years of volunteering in Australia, has been given the green light to have our very own DGR status by the trustees of the Rotary Foundation. That's been a long time coming. We've worked really hard for the last 3 years on that. And what that means is we've got access to some $600 million that are given out every year from private ancillary funds and the big end of town in Australia who look for a tax deduction of that type. So that application has been approved by the trustees. It's gone to the ATO. It's been helped out by the very best lawyers in Australia. And I'm really very buoyed by that opportunity. There's some great other opportunities that we're looking at. Our team at the district leadership team, vocational service, community service, international service, and club service are doing some great things despite the pandemic. We've taken on technology and we're doing some amazing stuff. But one of the things that really excites us is the opportunity to help young men and women to join Rotary in satellite clubs. And I'd encourage all of the 3 clubs here today to consider working together with Lily to attract young millennials born in the 80s and 90s to join their own satellite club and get their first experience on a board through having a Rotary mentor and a business mentor. We've done that successfully at South Bank, and that's proving really healthy for us and giving us dividends. We've also got an opportunity to bring business leaders together. Yesterday, we had 168 business leaders. Many of them were from outside of Rotary, and they came to hear from a leader of global standing to hear about how to work in this new environment that's going to be coming at us even more, in a hard way, to really help them traverse this territory over the coming months. A great breakfast, lots of great take-home value. The link will be up for you to have a look at. Please do have a look at it. And a number of people online today were there yesterday, so thank you for attending. We're also doing morning tea with the DG, and that's going really well. The next morning tea with the DG is this Saturday. And what we're trying to do there is showcase some of these projects that I'm talking about that is getting traction across the district and in other districts. So please do come along if you are available. Folks, I know we're running out of time. I was given 15 minutes, but I think we've run out of time. So all I'm going to say to you is that this is the centenary of Rotary in Australia and New Zealand. We have an opportunity to do more of the stuff that you were talking about that your clubs are doing. One of the projects that really brought me to tears in a joyous way was the letters to the aged care residents from Port Melbourne. That was just sensational, and thank you for sharing that story with Networker last week. We still are the best volunteer organization in history, despite the pandemic. We're going to be called upon to do more and more heavy lifting, and sharing of ideas, because we have a safe place that we can invite people to have a conversation, to see those conversations turn to actions. And just like you and me and Kitty and Sue and Lily and everyone in the room, we know that Rotary not only gives us the opportunity to put back and feel good about putting back, but to make friendships like we have in Rotary, like nowhere else. And it also gives us the opportunity to learn and grow just as all of us are. So why can't we share those three absolute valuable things with like-minded people who we know are going to be suffering from loneliness in the coming weeks and months, year ahead, 2 years ahead, bring them into Rotary. So I'm imploring you to stay strong, be proud of Rotary, wear your badge, but do stay safe, stay well, and stay proud of our Rotary. I'm going to finish now and open for questions. If you can answer any of your questions, I'd be very pleased to. Thank you, Chair, for allowing me to speak for the time I have. And Kitty, thank you for sharing your story with us as well today. Open to questions if there are any.
Well, we didn't get any by chat, so it's open slather now.
Okay, I like open slather.
Looks like we're all dumbfounded.
Okay. Well, we've had a great evening, so let's get to the wine raffle. I think people are waiting to see who won the wine raffle.
Okay, so just to let everybody know, so I've got some good news. I haven't drawn the wine raffle yet, but I've got some excellent news for, who have we got? For Doug Colleen. Doug, are you still with us?
Yep.
So you ordered 4, but I'm happy to say that you actually get 5 for your $20. So you got an extra one. So you're in with an extra chance. So that's pretty good news for you, Doug. So I've popped 5 in for you, gave you a little extra one along with everybody else. So just to let you know that tonight's raffle proceeds are going to the Queen Bee Partnership, which is the Queen Bees for Farmers. As we all know from reading our networker and various other communications, repopulating bee networks in bushfire and drought affected areas is critical to getting those flora regeneration and also a lot of the wineries and various other fruit and produce being grown in the area just doesn't work without pollination. So this is a fantastic project, and I'm very happy to say that so far we've raised $350 with the tickets raised so far. So they're all in the silver. If I could have my barrel girl over here, and I'm not referring to his tummy, just talking just to the general conversation that we had to have. It was the Don Lane show. So without fear or favour, I'm not looking, but Dennis is putting his hand in. They're all in there. And again, full disclosure, Dennis and I are not in the raffle. So it'll be going out to one of you tonight. So I will let you know with a big drum roll, if I can, from everybody, that we have, I'm just checking my, David Richards, you are the winner of tonight's beautiful bottle of Henschke wine. So congratulations, David, and thank you to everybody who's participated tonight. And the $350 will be going to a marvellous project. And please remember to pop the money into the account. If you haven't written it down, please do, so that you can do it after the meeting, because I am checking on you. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Can you post the bank account number again then, please, Sue?
Yes, I can, of course.
Well done, David.
Just scroll through the chats.
I'm popping it up now.
David, you've got 35 new friends.
For Albert Park members, it's our normal bank account if you don't need to write it down.
It's just coming up again. It was in the chat room earlier, but I am just putting it up there.
It's there, so it's
Yep.
Okay. Well, congratulations,
There you go.
David, and everybody, please take note we do have your addresses. We do know where to find you.
And
So-
we are recording the chat.
So thank you. We are now at the end of the meeting. I have to apologise for my technical issues, and thank you for being with me. And I'm sorry that I cut into Richard and Philip's time. We'd like to thank Philip, Kate, Lily, all the club presidents and their members. And thank you, Kitty, for helping us remain fit or regain our fitness during the month of October. Philip, thank you for updating us with what is happening at district level and now and in the future. So in order to not drag this on for any longer and we can have a little chat, I'd like to say we close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lily.
Thank you.
We'll leave the link open for another, whatever it is, 10 minutes till 8 o'clock if you want to chat amongst yourselves. It will be cut off the recorded version later on.
Thank you so much, cluster presidents, Pam, Kevin and Richard for running tonight's meeting. It's been absolutely wonderful. And again, thank you to Philip and Kate and Kitty and Dale, who actually has left us. So please stay on.